All right, we've got 8 minutes or 2 minutes after 8. I'm going to give this just about another minute or so here to before I get going. If people aren't able to attend, it will be recorded for posterity and posted to our YouTube page. Like I start our general membership meetings, I'd also like to start our Decriminalize Charleston meeting with the disclaimer that all meetings are an environment of education and awareness, and they're not an open market for the sale, purchase, or distribution of cannabis. We do not encourage or condone illegal behavior of any kind. And let me take a peek at the clock. We're at 8:03. I think we might as well kind of get rolling and get this recording. I want to start with apologizing to everybody and anybody that tried to log in the past 2 Tuesdays when we were supposed to be having meetings. We really had some technical difficulties, I guess is the best way to phrase it. Originally, when I had scheduled these meetings, apparently I didn't set security settings appropriately, and nothing in the application or software suggested any particular settings for security reasons. And so it appears that our meeting rooms, online meeting rooms were being used outside of our meeting times for inappropriate type behaviors. So they had originally terminated, or they say terminated, but technically suspended our account, got those kind of things figured out. The last week we went to log on again. I had logged into the account. Everything seemed to be fine. Everything looked to be there. But when I went to hit the button to start the meeting, it told me error, couldn't be found. And through about 2 or so days, go back and forth with their tech support, come to find that all of my meetings had been deleted from the back end of their servers, but apparently were still visible through the front end interfaces, giving me this false sense of security that the meetings were going to start when I clicked the button. So through this week, I've been back onto the site and clicking the buttons and false starting meetings over and over again, just to make sure that things were functioning properly. And even as for several days in a row, as a matter of fact, and even earlier today, just to be on the safe side, my paranoia was kicking in, going, well, what happens if I go and try and start a meeting today? And thankfully, everything seems to be back in order and working properly. With that said, I do want to start this meeting of the Decriminalize Charleston project, a project of Lowcountry NORML. Again, I apologize for not being here the past 2 weeks, and so now I'm just a little bit scattered and disorganized on what I want to cover tonight, because I kind of forget what I wanted to cover 2 weeks, and some of the stuff from last week I do kind of remember, and I've got new stuff for this week. With that said, I think I'm going to start in the beginning as far as I can back a little, and mention to anybody that's watching this or viewing later that one of the most important things we have, see if I can turn down this lighting a little bit, is our local initiative guide. Can be found on our website, normalsc.org. Can also be found on the Decriminalize Charleston volunteer group in the files section of that page. Very important that anybody that's volunteering, and especially if they're being a coordinator, read the guide. It's been updated for South Carolina. Earlier meetings, we had just had a copy of the Ohio version of it, but it has been updated for South Carolina, I think, since last we met. I've printed out a small excerpt that I kind of have kept along with me at certain places and times, page 8 through 10. Really, it's just about the signature campaign, the signature collection of the process that we have to go through here, which is kind of where we're in the early stages now. Goal for Charleston is 30,000 signatures for voters, registered voters that are residents of Charleston. We also have much lower numbers for the town of James Island and for the city of Folly Beach. I think Folly Beach, the number is about 750. And I don't have it in front of me tonight. I think it's close to 3,000 for town of James Island. Those are the signatures that we'll need to collect for those. So we do have a bit of an uphill battle, and it's been a bit of a false start with these meetings not kicking off properly the past couple weeks. We had some volunteers, and I think because the meetings didn't flow properly, I've lost some volunteers and coordinators. So as I've mentioned in previous meetings, I am looking for coordinators all over the Charleston area, specifically City of Charleston and Folly Beach. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I think I'm looking for one person downtown on the peninsula area, 2 over on the Daniel Island area, 1 in the on John's Island. There's just a small spider web or the section of it that's actually City of Charleston. 2 up in the West Ashley area. Hopefully we do have somebody out just outside the loop. I'm looking for somebody inside the loop. And James Island, I'm looking for another City of Charleston coordinator there. Also looking for some James Island petition coordinator here on James Island, and another coordinator for Folly Beach. With that said, anybody that has the opportunity to help me coordinate signature locations and events, I'd be thrilled to have your help. I think on my City of Charleston petition, I've collected maybe 15 or 16 signatures so far. So it's been a really slow start. But with that said, I know the last couple of meetings I was talking about we need some signs. I did finally find some poster board that we had left over from our 420 rally earlier in 2018. So I have been out. Here's a couple of them. Here's one of them I made earlier this week. I went to Walmart and I bought some colored markers and some stencils. On the back, I put an arrow in case we're directing traffic in one way or another to come and sign our petition. Made a second one. Kind of mentions that it's for less than 28 grams on there. No fine, no time. That is the Sensible Movement Coalition's process. No fine, no time, no court costs. So I've gotten a couple of them made. I did have our West Ashley coordinator stop by and pick up some sheets of poster board to make some, and I have a bunch more packs of, I think there's about 5 sheets in a pack of poster board, so I have a few more of those here. Anybody that can help that's artistic. I do also have some paints. I don't have brushes, so I think I'm going to go and pick a couple up in the next day or 3 and kind of try my hand at painting. I am not an artist in the least, but I'll just sort of guess spacing based on my little ones that I did with the stencils and try and make a couple new signs. And they don't have to be pretty. This is a real down and dirty grassroots effort. I guess they don't really have to be real pretty. I just tend to be a little self-critical at my sign making. So anyway, that's where we are with signs. I just found that it was easier and more hit home better if they were homemade. And the fact that we have not received enough donations to afford some signs, although I've found some relatively inexpensive, I think $7 or $8 per sign if we order 20 or 25, depending, I forget exactly what it is. But we really would need some donations and a number of new memberships or some kind of cash flowing in to help us move in that direction. So in the time being, I'm trying to work with what we have on hand, and that is some markers and paints left over from the rally and some other markers that I picked up, and the stencils I picked up, and we'll get there. We'll make this happen. Like I say, it might be kind of a down and dirty, slow process, but we're going to make this happen. We're already starting to get some notice. I think I mentioned it in an earlier meeting, our general membership meeting. But one of the things that I did want to talk about at the meeting last week that we didn't have was the day before, last Monday. I had the opportunity to sit in with the students at the Charleston College, their Students for Sensible Drug Policy group. Actually handed out a number of clipboards and petition packets to them. What we have done is we have ordered some decals to put on the back of clipboards. We've acquired, I think, somewhere about 90 clipboards so far now between myself and a couple of donors, coordinators. Each one of these manila envelopes that I have has 10 petitions in each pack. Each petition holds 40 signatures. So each packet of manila envelope should be about 400 signatures. And as you can see behind me here, I think I've printed about 150 or maybe 200. I think it's about 150 for the city of Charleston. And pretty much what we're going to need for Folly, we're only going to need maybe a little more than 15 or 20 petitions to get all of Folly covered, where we're going to need over 750 petitions to get all of city of Charleston covered. But we are starting to get the printers cooking. Until I distribute a few more of these, I'm going to let the printer take a rest. But one of the pluses with these LaserJet printers, the laser printers that we have, they do two-sided printing, so they are saving us on some paper. We are getting a little bit low on that too. So what did I say earlier? Donations would be appreciated. Thank you all. With that donations comment, right here behind me again, let me get in front of the camera. Finally pulled out our donations tin that we usually keep with us at our Lowcountry NORML vendor tent at different events. And so I'm going to ask any of our viewees out there or any of our coordinators, if you happen to have some extra little oatmeal cans or something that you can pass along to us so we can make some more donation tins. So while we're out collecting signatures, we can hopefully be collecting a few bucks to help pay for the process. It's not free, and I can't really afford it all out of my own pocket. So all your donations are always appreciated. We do have a fair number of pens right now. I think we've got about 60 or 70 pens, but if you happen to have a business and it has your business information on it, you want to promote your business along, pass along a couple of pens to us. I'm sure we'll be distributing them out there in the Charleston area shortly. Where else was I? Anything else I wanted to cover tonight specifically? Oh, I did want to mention Lowcountry NORML does have a new communications director. He is a guest contributor with the Charleston City paper. He's already quoted us in an article that he wrote in the paper that was published last week, and did get a brief mention in on our Decrim process. I believe he told me he's going to be drafting a press release for us, and also I'm hoping to get him getting our newsletter out on a regular basis as far as the organization goes. But for our Decrim process, I'm hoping he helps us get a little bit more publicity also on our blog about the Decrim. We'll be moving forward with that again shortly. Excuse me. The other thing was I have been in touch with Jim the Critic, an afternoon host at the Bridge 105.5 radio. He sounds very interested in trying to get the word out about our project here for the Decrim project, although I know he has to run it through his administrators and I guess marketing team. And I saw just this past week he does a couple-minute segment with Attorney David Ayler. This past week they were talking about, I believe it is the legislation to allow craft brewers greater distribution rights here in South Carolina, something like that. And they did sort of equate and mention medical marijuana in that conversation. And the critic did allude to me that they would be talking about the medical marijuana and our Decrim process in future segments. So I'm looking forward to that. Otherwise, we're just trying to hopefully get as much free media coverage as we can, any media coverage that's positive that we can. We did get quite a bit of conversation on a website, an app called nextdoor.com. I had posted on there that we had some of our petitions out at a couple of retail locations, one of them being a barber shop over on Harborview Road on James Island, the other being a vape shop down on Folly Beach. And it got quite a bit of conversation. I got some pushback on it from people saying that, you know, politics didn't belong on this page, although if you look at the page, politics is actually encouraged. And it got a little bit heated for a bit, and I may have even been a little harsh in some of my comments to my detractors for sharing this information. But I must say we did have a lot of support for what we're doing on it. People thanking us for sharing the information, and we even had a moderator of the website scolding our detractors and you know, for being so negative and for trying to shame us for what we're doing, and saying that, you know, the site is very much about politics in our community and how our community operates. So that was sort of uplifting there, and it did get the conversation going. Like I say, not all of it positive, but it was nice to see so much conversation going on it. And that's about, I think, my main points for this evening. I do, again, want to mention we're looking for coordinators to help me get some coordinating out there. We're looking for some events to possibly start setting up at. I've reached out to a couple of bands that are coming to the area for concerts this summer, seeing if maybe they will invite us as a nonprofit to set up for no charge and spread the word about excuse me, marijuana law reform and our decriminalization process. Some of those shows are up on River. Let me get this right. I want to say Riverland Terrace. I don't think that's right. But anyway, in North Charleston, and we are hoping to get a North Charleston petition together somewhere down the road, a couple of months from now, I'm assuming, because we really want to get a good chunk out of the city of Charleston first before we add on the North Charleston petition. But I'm hoping by the time we do some of those shows that are later in the year that we can do that as well. Any suggestions you have on locations on retailers that might want to have some clipboards and do signature collection for us, or businesses that might let us use their parking lot when they're closed on a Sunday or a Saturday or something like that, that we can stand out on hopefully a busy roadway and flag some traffic into the parking lot to sign our petitions. You know, we're absolutely allowed to be on any public access roadway, sidewalk. You know, of course, we don't want to obstruct any traffic or pedestrians walking on the sidewalk. But to flag over cars to pull off to the side of the road, we'd probably need permission from a parking lot owner, excuse me, to do that safely and to do that without trespassing on somebody's property, again, without permission. So if you know any businesses that would be willing to work with us, any CBD shops, anybody that's just sympathetic to a cause, a lawyer maybe, I don't know. I'd love any suggestions. Again, I'm hoping as people watch this out on YouTube, they'll comment there or email us at our email address that I'll probably put down. I can't even figure out it backwards here, somewhere down here. But I don't know if I had anything else necessary that I wanted to cover tonight. I do notice back here behind me, I have a couple of my DVDs that I have. I do plan on doing a couple of other get-togethers with our volunteers and with you know, through NORML, just to get some social activity and to maybe get some education going. We've got a NORML Life DVD. That one's a documentary from about 10 years ago. Weed the People is a newer one, almost brand new. Again, there are copyright restrictions on this and that, so we can't be showing this in any public locations. We can't be charging any kind of admissions for this. But I am inviting you, if you want to come and hang out at my home and sit in the living room and watch a documentary some Sunday afternoon, touch base with me if you're here in the James Island or Folly Beach or Charleston area, and you know, see if we can help you learn a little bit more about cannabis. Otherwise, that's about it. I do want to thank you for coming and joining us this evening. I don't see anybody that would be commenting. Any comments from any? You can unmute yourself if you like and kind of chime in. I am going to just kind of call it a meeting then and invite you all back here. I'm thrilled that this thing worked tonight. Invite you all back here next Tuesday evening, 8 p.m. You know me, I'll log in 5 minutes early and we will start at 8:02 or 8:03. And hopefully I have some new fresh information for you. Again, don't forget to support our sponsors. We have thepotmeadow.com for all your fun Pot Meadow shirts, hats, and sweatshirts, and also Cloud9 CBD and Vape Shop down on Folly Beach and also on Hilton Head Island. Reach out to them. We will put the links down below here. And don't forget, if you have an extra $1 or $3 or $4.20, donate to Lowcountry NORML on our donate page. Again, I'll stick that link somewhere right about there. And otherwise, I'm going to thank you all for being here with me tonight. Let's go out and decriminalize Charleston. Send me any messages if you need to. Tell your friends this will be on YouTube if they missed it. And we'll see you next week. Thanks for attending. Bye-bye now.